Okay, I got notes at back to like the 25th of. I got notes back to the 25th
What month?
of September of
September.
2018.
Okay, so here we are. The creator discussion, I suppose, of Electric Addiction. Started with the music, so that's you, Oni.
Yeah. And that was like March of, was it 2017?
I think so. That sounds right.
Yeah, that's when like we talked about it before that, but I started it in like March with having Hitomi come in and just record her for like 45 minutes or so. And then yeah, started for like the music like a month or a month and a half after that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
it wasn't called Electric Addiction then.
No. Like you want to do something with Seasons before that, and I sent you those tracks and you were just like, yeah, no.
Yeah, you sent me like you sent me 4 tracks, each were like an hour long. I'm like or maybe an hour and a half, I can't remember. I did have that in the somewhere, like in one of my drives that has like everything.
I don't even know where that is.
So you already recorded Hitomi then, or did you only record like something else then?
That wasn't the stuff for the Seasons thing wasn't Hitomi at all. It was just strings and whatever else I was using, which I don't even remember that music. So, but yeah,
you might lose me for a hot second.
Okay. So Oni, you only really had, well, I guess. How did you start with Hitomi? How did you decide I'm going to start with Hitomi because of something I told you or something? I don't know.
Yeah, it was just like the idea of like everyone addicted to electronics, and then kind of like a human connections coming from that. So I kind of decided to go the opposite way and make all the music sound electronic, but have it be coming from just the sounds from a human voice and affected and manipulated so it sounds like electronic music instead. And that was a nightmare to work with. It was just like 45 minutes of just recording her voice saying stuff and making noises and then like cutting up syllables and condensing them and affecting them enough so they sounded like a bass drum. And then just spending literally like probably like at least 100 hours just working on just the sounds. And then started like faded into my keyboard so I could play it and started coming up with all the different songs. The making the music was a lot easier than making the sounds.
Right, because you had to design the music or the voice to sound like music.
Yeah.
And then you could work them into a song, sort of.
Yeah, I was using techniques that like I've never seen used before. I was just trying out and experimenting a lot and stuff back and forth between like analog to digital and editing it then back to analog, and it was like more like being a mad scientist for the first part of it.
Oh.
And then drinking again.
What's that, Oni?
I was joking, so that's why I started drinking again.
I think a lot of people started drinking again this year. Unfortunately, but or fortunately, depending on.
Sometimes I wish. I have like $100 of whiskey over there that I won't touch.
Collector item.
Yeah.
Till 2049. I have here the email. Actually, because it says here we started, at least one of our meetings would have been Sunday. Well, this email is dated September 20th, 2017. And we will discuss themes, how to daisy chain it. What does that mean?
I signed my NDA on 9/11.
Oh.
But yeah, that's what I have. Our first meeting is September 20th.
Okay, because the email was sent on the 20th, and it says the Sunday at 4 at IKEA's cafeteria.
Yeah, I thought we met before that day. Like we met.
Yeah, I feel like
a
we
time
did too.
Before that.
So maybe it wasn't all through Gmail, or at least it wasn't called
We were making a short at that time, so maybe there was some overlap with what us discussed.
We discussed the short
Yeah.
and the feature length in the first meeting.
That's right.
We were making
this
something.
Would have, yeah, distortion would have been next, because details we had done in early 2017. For
with
C-Fest.
distortion we discussed.
Yep. Okay. So we had an audition later. Oh, I see. Discuss Z-Fest 9 briefly. Possibly 2 films. Prioritize song tracks. So that's where Oni kind of comes in.
I think you had sent us the tracks before that meeting. Am I right about that?
Yeah, I had them on my phone. I remember.
I like downloaded this like app on my computer, and I still have it to this day to get that music or whatever. So,
and for those who are watching this later, I didn't introduce us. I'm Alan. I'm Alan, the director. And
I'm Colby. Of other stuff. Yeah, I wrote and did other stuff.
I'm JF. I did some of the writing. I hoped to do more, but I got pregnant.
Life happens, yeah.
I'm Oni. I did the music stuff.
we did the stuff.
Everyone's doing something and the stuff.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh boy. We're off to a great start.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, this has been great, Alan.
A1. No, I think we're all right. I think it's it's a discussion, and it did start with the music. I mean, the big thing was we had to make a story.
Yeah,
with the right. Am I wrong? Or we had a theme of our relationship with technology.
Like the whole thing was to listen to the music first, and then come up with ideas based on and like pick out what tracks like really spoke to those ideas.
Yeah.
Which was a really interesting way to like start writing with it, because like I feel like music usually comes a bit later in the process, so it was fun to like it was just really interesting to have everything come from the music rather than the music come from what's it was
it's interesting to me because I listen to music a lot, or I used to as a kid, and like would think of like what would be cool, what kind of like soundtrack, or what would this song, what would it look like in a film? And so for us to do that with Oni's music was actually really cool, because like it's something I always did as a kid. I always like, oh, that'd be great in this like like a fighting scene, or that'd be great in like a whatever scene. This would be a good song for that. So for us to do that was really interesting, because like I don't know, but I'm sure people done that before. A song they love, but like, man, I wish the song would be like in a movie. So that's what I had fun doing that, and so it helped me like create my character.
Yeah, and I really did listen to it like a lot. Like I have very specific memories of like I would listen to it like playing video games or like my commute to work or
drive,
like
go to work. Or like working
so,
out, I listen to it, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so it really like, and I always thought like the music to me was like a fun atmosphere. At least the songs that I really connected with, like it's like a fun atmosphere. Who creates the atmosphere, and that's where I kind of like went into my direction of like my character, basically.
Yeah.
But do you guys remember how we used to like make like all those like fake companies to
Oh, we
figure out like
did.
what we're gonna
We
play?
brainstormed so many fake companies.
Man. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about it, but the like the how like we had like a pretty big, pretty well sized team of writers before.
Yeah.
You know, we lost two of them.
Right.
So and then for us to pick, we kind of picked up one of the characters still, but like I thought that was kind of cool. We were able to pull that off. You know what I mean? Because we had a pretty big team at the beginning of it.
Yeah, we had Agnes and Kelly originally, because I know Agnes, I don't even remember if she showed up. Maybe once. I can't remember. But I know that Kelly was with us for the first round of auditions in November. And she's in the credits as being, audition assistant. But then we also, it just, it came down to the three of us. And I remember just picking up with those pieces, like where's that third storyline coming from? Like, how am I juggling my Mr. Robot with like, what else can I kind of hybrid the other ideas with? So
I remember talking to Lisa and like I said something that I remember like massaging the story, because that's what we did a lot. I thought of like, okay, like molding the story to like make sense to each other, like, and have them connect. Because it was all like, why? Because I remember I think was it a restaurant we were at one time? We were like, well, we need this character to like have them connect with this character, because then it would make sense if they're not there. You know what I mean? I remember doing a lot of that, and like the scenes, like when they're when Paige is connecting with what's her name? They're connecting on the aunt with on the video game, and like Clay's in the background on the radio, like to make that connection. You know what I mean? Like they're not connected, but they're connected. Like it's all kind of, I like that. It's
like going behind the idea of like we think of online and real life as two separate things, but they really are like everything online is real people. There's just like different, so I really liked that.
I think I knew I wanted to do it reverse style, because I always send Oni like films last minute, like score this right now, like Z-Fest. We had just come off of Z-Fest, which was, I think, a success for us.
That
under
was
details.
Fun. Yeah.
It was also challenging because, we had to rewrite things on the spot too. Just kind of like different characters were created out of necessity, and it turned into what it is. So I have here the first email, September 20th, 2017, to meet on Sunday, which would have been the 24th, according to the calendar. So the end of September was like our first big meeting. Because I have here who I sent it to: Jane, Agnes, Kelly, and Colby here. I sent it to you a little later, Colby. I don't think you had came on yet, but like saying that, we have music, right, Oni? as you're drinking.
A lot of music. I think I sent you like close to 3 hours of music the first time.
Yeah, I think there were a number of tracks, and then I had to kind of cut it down to like all the favorites basically, and then I gave it to you guys subsequently. I think it ended up being like 22 tracks.
And I know some of them got a little strange after a while.
Yeah.
I kept it tame.
What's that?
I kept it pretty tame considering half of the stuff I usually do.
Right. But yeah, that's where it kind of came from. I'm always sending him stuff. So why don't he send, let's try inversing this.
Mm-hmm.
And then Colby, and Jane, like, were we already, I knew we were developing characters at this point. And we kind of had, 3 each because we had character backgrounds here, I'm seeing.
Yeah, I think when we first started out, we were going to write a traditional script.
Right.
So I think I actually do have drafts of parts. So I think we started out like with going over script ideas.
Yeah.
After we had kind of formed an idea of characters and like what we would want to say.
Right. I have a bunch of character write-ups from Colby here back in looks like November of 2017.
Yeah.
And that's when we had our first round of auditions. And of our cast, who did we have there? Greg was in that.
Mm.
Let's see. Greg, who plays...
Can I say I felt so embarrassed when I forget my characters' names?
Yeah.
I was like,
there's so many of them though.
Trey,
Yeah.
So many of them.
Plus, it was like this long ago. It's been 3 years for us.
Yeah,
I have a 2-year-old now. Speaking of,
yeah.
timetable.
That's crazy.
There's a human with a personality that has like grown up. Like, isn't that crazy to think about? Yeah.
That's awesome at the same time.
Looks like Ava was in that round.
Yeah, Ava was a pretty strong audition.
We were on she's almost too good, we thought. We're like, man. Like,
it was actually pretty tight, I remember, because there were some good youth actors here.
There were some. Out of like the whole pool, like, kids are just, I think that's pretty true, like with all the projects I work on, whenever there's kids in it, like, kids always knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ava killed it, and like we're like, is she too good for the part? Like she's just too good, but I'm glad we went with her.
Yeah, because we weren't sure how her character would fit with like whoever the mother or father may have been at that
like
time.
as I said, like, like we ended up scrapping the dad part, and it like just didn't. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't have mattered anyway, but like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I kind of like that we just didn't even mention it.
Yeah.
It didn't matter.
Yeah, it worked out great.
Let's see, who else did we have? Looks like Gabby was in there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep.
And Erica.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So a lot of characters from
yeah, it was a pretty good round of auditions.
Okay,
like, a lot of people.
I like that.
How many people did we see total? Like, I felt like we saw a lot of people.
It felt like a lot. We were there for a couple hours, weren't we?
It was one every 10 minutes between noon and 5.
Yeah.
We were there for 4 hours?
We were.
So 4 hours times 6 each hour. Yeah.
I remember that's the first time I had to write a script for like an audition. I only had Lauren read it 3 times. She's like, dude, it's fine. Like, whatever. I'm like,
Oh,
yeah, you're right. You're right. It doesn't really matter.
The sides were great. I liked the sides.
yeah. What were they? Were they?
We just wrote up I wrote up a little exchange about.
Oh, that's right.
Fork knife, or
Yeah.
no, it wasn't fork knife. It was Fortnite.
The pie one.
Yeah.
I remember the pie. Yeah.
It was a bit about the daughter and the aunt. The daughter showing the aunt the video game for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about knights in a fort called Fortnite.
Yeah, that's right.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And then there was this long wait between November and February. Looks like it was November 28th. Or 26th, it looks like. For those auditions.
We worked on the short film.
Oh, yeah. That was Distortion during January, right.
Mm-hmm.
Then it would have been late February for the next round of auditions.
Mm-hmm.
That I know Elizabeth was in that block. I think Jennifer, DeVell, Rod, I think. Let me double check that though. Grant and Andy would have been in that then too. Leon was not in auditions. I remember we didn't find his character.
Yeah, we didn't. I think we did. Remember, but then the guy never answered his phone, or the guy never he found he never called us back or whatever. He killed it and then left, and we're like, hey, it was great. And he was like, yeah, no. Like, all right.
He just evaporated. He had other things to do.
I
guess. That's why we have auditions. That's why we have callbacks. This is to show can you go the distance? Can you at least show up? Because I'm seeing on the first audition list a bunch of red stripes, meaning they weren't there.
Yeah, we had a few who did not show up again.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So he was what was it? One of those actors that get a little too in character.
What do they call? What is that called again? Something actor.
Right? Yeah, no, I had it in my head and just went away.
Method? What?
Method actor. It's a method actor.
It was method acting for
he was the embodiment of Trey. He's like, man, I'm out here for me. Snapchat this. I'm out.
Oh, interesting. We did have Gabby. I have notes here from Jane. Gabby was an idea for the boss. She was favored. Elizabeth was looking like she could have been the aunt.
Yeah.
Ava was fantastic, I have here as notes.
She was great.
Yeah. That's interesting. So Elizabeth wasn't initially thought of as the mom, maybe.
Yeah, I remember the person that we had reached out to for the mom originally couldn't do it. So we switched it up.
Yeah. And I think at this point we knew it was going towards mumblecore. So
yeah.
I don't know if you guys can confirm that or not.
Yeah, that was pretty much what we thought, right?
Yeah, because I know by at least February, I remember asking a lot of people if they did improv.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had that on the audition for the second audition.
Yep.
Yeah. And then definitely in the callbacks.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the callback sheet. 324. 18. Let's see. Yep, Andy was in that. Obviously, DeVell, he was in the. Like, we had to double some people up because we just didn't have enough time.
I think we also intentionally doubled up with some of them to see people play off each other.
Right. I have Greg and Jennifer.
Yeah, because we were testing that element.
And the improvised approach.
Yeah.
Plus cold reads. So
yeah.
That's why you show up, and it's like, oh,
right.
Is this what this is about?
Yep.
Yeah, Elizabeth was paired up with someone. Yeah, everyone was paired up, it looks like. Except for DeVell.
He wasn't there. Oh, yeah.
Because the other person didn't show.
Didn't show up. That's right.
Or they went, I remember that, though. They went to the wrong room, and then they just left. They went to the old audition room upstairs that we did, and we were downstairs.
Because we were at the library, and you know, I can't really fault them for that one because
that library.
That's the second location was hidden behind the stack,
which is kind of good. That also
it was great.
Yeah,
but I could see why it would cause an extra layer of panic for anyone trying to go to an audition. I mean, it was wonderful space. Don't get me wrong.
You want to get in and out of there,
just like as somebody with anxiety, like
you don't want to be there very long. I remember trying to use the bathroom, but a guy was like mad at me, and I was like, I don't know what I did. I'm sorry.
Auditioning, that library. I remember
something else, which is, I think it was. I mean, it is what it is. It was what an experience it was. Just do the auditions in that place. I had a great time. I'm not gonna even act like it was a big deal. So
yeah, I've done auditions there a lot actually. Like it's not God, like at least like 5 projects. I've done auditions there, so.
I think that sometimes the hardest part was just finding meeting spaces. I remember that. After auditioning.
Meeting spaces that everyone could get to, because like we had a few and people were, oh, that's too far for me, and you go over, oh, that's too far for me, and it's like, dang man, like where did we go then? Like
yeah, and you want to pay for parking then? Okay.
I mean, it ended up being like after auditions, and when we finally got our cast, it ended up being that library because that's the only place that people thought was central, right? Like, so, I mean, it was just hard to get a room there.
Yeah. We also had production meetings at like the Lunds Byerly's.
Yep. We met one time at that coffee shop.
Yeah.
There was a meeting room at, I think it was a Lunds Byerly's, and
yeah, that was one of the last ones I was able to show up to, I think.
Right.
That was the first meeting where we had to like break down our stories to our characters or to our actors.
Yeah, wardrobe.
Like, what is going on with this film? Like they're kind of like, what is going
Everybody
on?
had such great creative energy about it, though.
It
like
was
everybody,
fun.
like especially at that meeting, like everybody was like super pumped. Like it was really fun.
When we first met, everyone was pretty was like the energy was great, trying to get people understand it, and like it was fun like giving them like homework to do. So like, hey, watch this movie.
Yeah.
And going through like there were some more like connections and stuff, like ideas like between people and like talking it out and stuff like that.
Yep.
Then and that was really fun. And like
And it kind of grew. I mean, I know you weren't. I know you kind of missed the later half, but they definitely kind of it grew with people, and they kind of built like an acting relationship with each other. I don't know. It seemed like it kind of grew onto film too. I felt.
Oh yeah, you can definitely feel like I feel like I think the that energy I think is really comes through pretty strong. I think
like the relationship, because like I guess for me, it's like when you trying to like, it was like a team effort. So you know what I mean? It wasn't like, oh, this is your character. You go over there and learn your character and then learn the film. It was oh, like this is like who you are. What do you think about this person? And then they're like, oh, I guess, yeah, I like it. Like, what would you do in this situation?
Yeah.
Well, I would do this. Or I would say, all right, now say that again. Just keep saying that, and then that's what we kind of did. Like, I felt like when we filmed, it was like, all right, what would you do? Well, I'd be mad.
I wasn't at a lot of those later meetings, but I did email back and forth with, especially the actress who played the aunt, about like just like different motivations and like just the way gaming culture is and stuff like that. And
and I wish that's one thing I wish like I knew more about. I wish I would maybe I did a better job at like talking to you too. It's like, I know gaming and stuff like that. There are some things I didn't know that you know way more than me. So when we were with her, she'd be like, "Well, what is this?" Like, blah blah blah. And I'm like, she's like, I have no idea. And Jane, she's like, "Well, Jane told me that," and I was like, I had no idea what that is, but that sounds great. Like, you should go with that. Like, you know what I mean?
I think she did a great job. She did a really
good job. But like, I felt like being, not from the gaming culture, but like now, like, she's in it, so she's like, she's older, so she's like super into it. I love how she played that.
Yeah.
Because, I didn't know how. I wouldn't know how that would look in real life.
Yeah,
so
I think she did great, and I like that. I loved
so
that.
Good.
That inner, like especially like, I have a lot of friends in like incredibly various ages and like groups and stuff, like through these similar like interactions. So like when has that scene like where she's meeting at the coffee shop, I was like, this has that energy. Like, I've been in this situation. Like,
I was gonna ask you that because I was like, that seems like authentic. And have you ever been in that kind of situation before? Like, I met you on this game with Get Coffee. Yeah. Have you had that before?
Oh yeah, I've had like pretty similar. I would guess if you if you take a game and replace it with podcasts, that's happened more often with me than with video games. But there are people that I've had like a strong like bonding relationship with for like way longer, never meeting face to face than like, and then having that moment is always pretty fun, and it has that kind of pause moment, like kind of like.
Because I've had one time where I played with somebody actually from Minneapolis. It's that game called Left 4 Dead. It's like a zombie game. And they're like, I'm like talking about like we're on front, like, it's snowing right now. They're like, yeah, it's snowing here too. I was like, where do you live? And they're like, oh, Minneapolis. I was like, what? Are you serious? Like, I'm in Egan right now. So I was wondering, like, if that's like, I've only had that one time happen to me. So
I've known people who've gotten married from that interaction.
Awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
I should get on the gaming thing, huh?
Yeah. Because it's all just people, and if you make a connection, like even if it's through technology, it doesn't make it like.
You're not a user, right?
It's
It is
all still people.
You don't see that kind of storyline in this film. Like you know what I mean? You don't see like a genuine connection through video games on a film. I've never seen it before.
Yeah.
Like, hey, these people like are friends because they met on a video game, and then in return helped my sister get a job. Like that was just, I thought that was interesting to me, and I always
and
think
I've
that
had
about
interaction, like I've had really similar interactions to that. Like,
that's cool.
well, heck, like I have friends that have like they've helped me out in so many different ways, like that I, know from online. So that was really important. That was an important part I really wanted to bring to this, because I think there's this weird stigma with internet friendships. I think people have probably changed their mind a little bit about that in the last 6 months, but like,
Right.
it's, human connection is what's important, and that can happen through technology, like for all the good and the bad, like
right. Because I think a lot of our meetings, at least for myself and Colby, were focused on a lot of the negative.
I didn't say that. Yeah.
Side effects, if you will.
Right.
But then you had this great, you had more of the positive side of it. And
yeah, and I think it plays really well having those sides, like of it. Like it's like the whole movie is more of an examination of these, like the ways that we interact interpersonally with through and with technology.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was what I was going through at that time, or like what my mental space was. Because I picked up on that watching the movie, where it wasn't for the DJ part, but like the not liking social media part. That was a lot of me then, where I felt like I was doing a lot of comparing myself to people who I've never even met before and don't know what the struggles are. But like, they got the new shoes, or they got the new this, and they got the new that, and I'm over here like comparing myself. And I remember like writing that story because I wanted to tell myself like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like that's their life, and they're showing. I remember I was talking about it a lot. And I think a lot of that conversation we had with therapy for me, kind of. I remember it's talking about how like you said social media is just like what they show you, like the shiny apple. They're not showing you the rotten part behind it. You know what I mean? And so when we had that conversation, I was like, yeah, that's true. Like no one shows their dark days in social media. And when they do, they're criticized about it. You know what I mean? Sometimes. So I was like, well, I want to have a character who's just like who I was trying to be at that time, where I'm off, like I'm not about it. Like it doesn't make me who I am anymore. And like I've used it for so long, but now I'm like I don't want to be that. So I like that. I like that we all kind of. I don't know if Alan had so personal about it, but like that was me. I was like, I like social media, but I want to like not be so. How many likes I get on that picture? And so I think that's why I had a great time working on this project.
Yeah, I think that's like totally, like I think a lot of people empathize with that and struggle with that too. That it's like, that cultivated personality is kind of fed in a lot of social media. But like what was that number that you said, Alan? The 3% of tweets, like
3% of Twitter is actually of their users are actually the ones that tweet all the time. It's only 3% or something.
Yeah, it's just like such this like small percentage of like people's lives that's like that you see, like So it's like that's a hard standard to live by.
And that's why I thought the character that I think Erica played that's what it was. I mean, that's what she was. She was willingly telling you who she is. Like she's playing a character. And so I like that it was kind of exaggerated a little bit. Like she's knowingly playing this character, and it is what it is. So I like that part of her part of the story of our story, I guess.
Yeah,
Right.
I think it played against DJ Clay pretty well because like she's like she wants that cultivated personality, and he's like kind of struggling against it. So I felt like those two stories kind of mirror in a interesting
She
way.
connects everything, kind of like she connects all the
Yeah,
like
she
she's
does.
like the middle part of every story because she connected to Andrea's character, and I like her character because she's like that other person in real life where like, why are people so mean to you? Because she's just not very good at talking with people, and that's just she hasn't figured that out yet with some people. I like her character because like she's like someone who hasn't just figured herself out yet. It's not that it's not really her. It's not really anything. It's just what it is right now. Maybe I don't know how other people feel when they watch it, but I like that she felt like just a normal person who was like trying to figure out where her space was in this like weird world.
Yeah, totally.
How about you, Oni? What stories did you kind of connect with as like someone who wasn't really in on the writing process, but I mean, obviously your music, so.
I forget characters' names. So,
yeah,
it's okay. We do too. We wrote them.
Yeah.
The one that I relate to one of the most is probably God. She was trying to like hire an assistant for the one guy who was doing the programming.
Yeah, Andy.
The one that no one wanted to hang out with.
Yeah,
Paige.
Yeah.
Paige Master.
Paige is like the most empathetic, like, is the, like, I think most people will really feel for Paige.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely have been there. I feel like that's Paige kind of is a lot of people go through in their like early to mid 20s. Like
it's a weird I think I don't maybe I probably haven't I don't know. People say I talk a lot and I'm fine, but I think there's a time in my life where I had a hard time talking. You know what I mean? I had a hard time saying.
I wouldn't believe it. I don't believe it.
I feel people say that, but I feel the time where I had a hard time expressing like I don't know, like saying what I wanted to say in front of people I didn't know very well, or like I was nervous around. I have a hard time like talking, and now like you kind of figure it out. And I felt that with her because she's like trying to be like comfortable in her skin, but she can't. She's just not yet. And people are so mean to her for no reason. But they think she's weird. I get it. People think she's weird. Like another human thing. We're like, if you're weird, we're just like, well, get away from me. Which is, because they're still on their phone. They're still on their technology. That's like, oh, whatever. Like I don't have time.
Or they just don't care.
They don't care. Yeah, they don't care enough to like. You're not interesting enough for them. So I've had that. I mean, I definitely had people be like, "Yeah, I don't want to talk to you."
That's like when I just like here's a normal point of conversation, and I'll just go over to the point that's really weird, and then just work my way back.
I've definitely had that.
So let's talk about your picks for actors. Colby, why don't you start? Why don't you just talk about your main three there, and Lisa?
I think I'm gonna start with Rob's character. He felt like a big brother when he came to the audition. You know what I mean? He felt like a big brother who knew what was going on.
Weren't you waffling between having him just be a friend or be like a cousin, and then you met, and then I remember that Rob came in and auditioned, and you're like, it has to be a brother. Like Rob, that's the energy.
I don't think I had a brother character, honestly. I
just remember you after the audition, you were like, he has like, you said that energy.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I had a brother character.
You originally had Justin Adams as the younger brother.
Yeah,
that's what I had.
Yes, I had a little brother. That was what he had, a little brother, and that because like I mean we had, I don't know how many I had. I think I sent you like 7 characters because I had like an ex-girlfriend story for the DJ. I had parents,
sure,
like the
the parents. Yep.
I had all types of stuff going on with like the brother and the younger brother relationship. But then like Rod came in, and I was like, okay, like yeah, he had to be the big brother. Like he doesn't remind me. No offense to my brother if you see the boy, he doesn't remind me of my brother. My brother was a great big brother, but he's not a big like, hey,
like a dad big brother.
Yeah, he's not that kind of big brother. He's more like, hey man, you should do this, but hey, I know what I did when I was your age, so you're doing better than me. Where like Rod was like, I wanted him to be a brother that like was trying to make up for lost time, brother, because I don't know if we made it clear, and I don't want to be clear. I'm glad it wasn't that they were half brothers. You know what I'm saying? So that they share their dad. That they have the same dad, and so I wanted to be like, the brother of I wasn't around enough for you, and now that like we're around each other, I want to try to keep you going the way you're going because I see you're successful. And I don't want to I like how he says like when he's talking to Lisa, he's like, hey, people say, hey, oh, you're Clay's big brother, and it's all downhill from there. But so I wanted to make it be like when I was having him interact, he's not trying to use his little brother for his career. That's why, you know what I mean? He's trying to push him to be this certain kind of person. So I'm talking a lot, guys. You can't let me be quiet.
Well, yeah, you talked about Rod, and then talk about your actors.
And then with DJ Clay, with DeVille, he had the energy that I wanted. Honestly, at the audition, there was a few people I was looking for something, and he just can't explain what it was, but he came off as a very, charismatic person who wasn't afraid. You know what I mean, to kind of play up a certain character, and then with Trey's character, I mean, the guy only had one person that chose, I think, and he didn't show up, and so thank God Leon showed up, and they were to just do exactly what I needed him to do. But even a better
catch his live, Leon's live. Did you catch that with Lisa?
Yeah,
about how he was brought in, and then like he was told the week before, according to his memory, that it was improv, or
before that. But
I was like, no, it wasn't. Okay, a whole month means a week in your memory.
Yeah,
so,
I get it.
But he did such a great job. He had a few solid, really funny lines like that he pulled off.
He did better than what I imagined. I think that's a lot of what I got from the actors. Because he came off kind of like trying to be a manager, where my vision was this some really cool guy, like hung out with the guy. I mean, but like he came off kind of like trying to be a manager, but also trying to like live this facade.
Well, he's also his friend too, so
he's his friend, yeah. So I liked that he came off. I like how they brought their personality to the characters, and it paid off, in my opinion.
And then talk about Lisa.
Lisa, honestly,
how did you meet Lisa? First off, let's establish that.
Well, now, and a lot of this film was like, what can we do to add to this story? And a big thing about this film we wanted was with DJ Clay and him being kind of like in the music scene. I wanted kind of like a hip hop, someone from the hip hop scene in Minnesota, kind of in the film, but not not exaggerated. And Rao was just like, well, I did a commercial with Lisa, like Lisa Moy from the radio station, and so, oh man, so he was like, yeah, I connect you. So I think I emailed her, and she said she was open to it, and I was nervous to talk to her. I was like, man, Lisa Moy, like she's on the radio, like, well, I don't know how I'm gonna convince her. and like I didn't really say anything. She was like, "Yeah, I'm down. Let's do it. Improv. Let's do it." I was like, "This is great. This is the greatest conversation." And so, what she added to the movie was so it when I asked her, I didn't know she'd be as big of a part. She's huge, and so she helped connect Broad and develop characters even better. I feel.
Yeah, I think that relationship between all of them it made more sense. They knew each other growing up, and here they are, all grown up doing their things. So
it felt like they're like I don't know like I don't know. Like I liked how the characters have like such a story beyond and before the movie. I feel like all of them can do something beyond this.
Yeah, Jane, let's hear about your lineup here.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was just trying to pull up the audition sheet.
Because you have Elizabeth, Ava, Jen, and then Gabby.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we touched on it, but Ava's audition was just like she just
blew it out the water.
Yeah, like she was perfect. Like immediately, like just like her delivery, like everything, the energy she brings, like that kind of exasperated tween energy that I'd definitely been
Yeah, I've seen her in
imagining.
auditions before, and I've seen her grow up like when she was really young, like maybe 5 or 6 even, somewhere in there. But I'd never had a part for a kid though, so it was just like I can't work with it, unfortunately. But
Yeah, and yeah,
I remember you were conflicted about like, is it a mother or a father, single mother or father?
yeah, I did. I toured with that back and forth because I feel like in film,
I remember you saying this.
Yeah, there's the single mom character happens a lot more than the single dad. But they're just there just wasn't that energy wasn't there in the auditions. Like I had it left it kind of open. But like really I don't remember who we were originally thinking for the mom, but I'm like I think Elizabeth and Jennifer did perfect for their roles in the movie. For what I was imagining. Like so.
Did you hear her Elizabeth's podcast and her live with Lisa? Did you see those?
No, I didn't. I'm sorry.
Catch those when you can. She talks about that. Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. I'll have to. Yeah.
Can I say one thing? Do you remember that we were thinking Andrew to be the DJ for a hot second? We were talking. It was between Andrew and DeVille for a hot second. I was like, maybe Andrew should be the DJ.
We did think about that.
We were thinking about that, and I was like, oh man, should I have done that? But like, DeVille was great. He did a great job.
Yeah, no, DeVille was perfect. Yeah.
I don't remember. I don't know if you guys remember this, but we were really big on diversity of our cast.
Yes,
we were really big on having not the same thing in film. So I remember when you brought up the part with the single dad, I was like, that's right. We were thinking about the single dad. I was thinking about choosing my DJ to be a girl character because I thought that'd be a little bit more interesting, honestly. But, nothing to develop was great. So
yeah, I think it is really important to think about diversity and like having diverse stories. Like for so many reasons. And like, yeah, and it is more interesting. Like we see a lot of the same things and a lot of the same tropes over and over and over again. And but there are so many different stories out there.
And like I think our big thing with diversity wasn't like and I think that we have a very diverse writing team as well. But like we weren't trying to be like, well, we want one of each. We weren't. That wasn't our brain.
No.
It was more like we want like different. Like I'm just saying that because
it wasn't a stock photo. We were trying. We're trying to make a stock photo, but we did want to make it interesting. Yeah.
When people say diverse and it says, "Oh, you picked a black guy," that's not what we were looking for. So I'm glad that I'm glad.
I know what you're talking about because we had come right off of Z-Fest. Everyone is white, it seemed, in all these films. And it was just like, Z-Fest so white, It's like,
we had a conversation. Yeah, that's true.
Minnesota, but, it's, there's more ideas, obviously, we could pick from.
And it was something we thought about. Like, we thought about, all these things are playing back to me, but how Minneapolis, we're going to show Minneapolis or the Twin Cities in general with more than just Z-Fest. Like white actors, which is nothing wrong with that. But we wanted to show what the city really is. And it's a lot of different people in different backgrounds who act and who like film and enjoy our city. So the shots of the city is beautiful. I love that so much.
Yeah. Gabby was a good pick for you, Jane, I think.
Oh, yes. I love
She's been killing it.
I love Gabby as the boss.
Intimidating.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then my group here, all of them have moved away. Every single one of them. So we start. Yeah, go ahead. What, Oni?
Is that a sign?
Bigger,
hate that character.
They took to the story.
They did. That's true.
And they moved everywhere. So we have Grant, who played Oliver. And again, I was really into Mr. Robot. Oni knows this. And just kind of that.
Wearing a Mr. Robot T-shirt, kind of in honor of that.
Oh my, 5'9", huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just
or F Society.
I was picking out a T-shirt and I saw that and I was like, oh, I should wear that because I know that Alan based the character on.
I didn't think here, so. No, I'm kidding. They did win that year, so. I was rooting for them while we were, trying to get through this film.
I was not. I wanted LeBron.
I know they stopped LeBron from breaking the record, basically. Anyways.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't want to get into that. Anyways.
Good old Durant. But then, Oliver's character was really supposed to be working for this Silas, which is another character in a way that will continue on.
My brother loved him. My brother just watched their movie. He loved the Silas executive. He thought that was top notch.
Greg
was great. I thought that was great. So. Really good.
You're painting on our ceilings.
That finger.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was so good.
And I remember doing those scenes and just thinking it has to be very urgent, by the end, say at first I was thinking maybe you have until the end of the day, but no, let's make it before you leave this room.
I remember you saying that and me and Lauren no, it's gotta be in the after you know what I mean? You have to leave with an answer.
Yeah.
That was a long day of shooting.
Yeah, we did all those scenes that day. Everything was. I mean, it was a 13-day shooting schedule, which we'll get to here. And then Erica, I mean, she's top billing on this because of all the work she put into it. And every day doing what we see in the very opening sequence of the film. That. Transforming herself to look like this character. Even the eye color was different. But yeah. So
And
those
took
things.
that character and made it her own. 'Cause I remember saying that's not really her. I thought that's not her. She's not that like kind of person. Like I know,
Right?
that's why you're great for it. That's why you should play it.
Well, I remember talking to her about a lot of like YouTubers that we knew at that time, and there was a specific video that's like the one at the end of the film. And we were kind of like, but then she posted other videos that was like, oh, she's good then. You know, it's like, is this genuine or was that not? Was that like an act? You know, so we had a lot of character studies we could go off of online. So hers was quite easier to establish some character background for. Plus, just living that life, what's that like? Because you're not backed by anything other than what you can do, what you can provide, like followers, basically. So, like that's what you're good for, basically. That's how you get money.
Weird, yeah.
Um,
you play a person every day.
Yeah, and there's been people like that for like comedy and YouTube stars that I know, and I'm like, they always play this character. I never see them break character, so I thought that was interesting. And then Paige's character, that one's interesting because I
love Paige so much.
Yeah. I knew I wanted someone in between these two dynamic characters because someone who is a little more grounded and knows both of them. So they're all connected. Just like in your storylines too. But yeah, her character is just more, just, you know, you feel normalized with her, kind of like, okay, we've all been through this job, as you guys said earlier too.
But she's also just so caring. Like, I don't know. I love that. Like, she goes out of her way for other people despite, like, everybody being kind of shitty to her. Like,
right.
Yeah.
And sometimes you feel like you're kind of left out of the conversation too, and that's who that character is, basically. So
exactly, yeah.
And it can feel that way online, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Very isolating.
Yeah.
Let's see, and then of course, Greg's character. Oh boy. Yeah, he was so good at that. I hope to work with him again in the future, but we'll see. Roger. And don't forget Oni's DJ hookup for the radio station. Want to talk about that, Oni? How you created Tom?
I didn't do anything. I don't even know how that's. I remember like you asked something about like I think it was like about Tom and KFAI, and just I remember like I sent you to Tommy and Mason too to talk to them about it, but he was perfect to get in for that. That's everyone at that station is great, so I'm sure that it came together really easy.
Yeah, it legitimized, I think, DJ Clay's character more.
You know, that in the studio, which that was a good time. I had fun in that studio. I mean, it was beautiful. Man,
it was. Hearing some of the interviews, I remember it being a hard sell to some of the actors, but I don't remember it being as hard as they have now expressed.
Yeah, you know? I remember that. Yeah, man.
I remember. I know. You and I were, Colby. We really did want Rod. I think we all did. We wanted Rod because he's a great actor. We know that. So.
Yeah.
And he was a hard sell.
Rod wasn't very, very into the whole improv thing, but I hope he watched this movie and he's like, all right, I can do that, because he did it. I mean, he did it to me with ease. I don't know if it was hard for him or not. Maybe
Well,
it was
remember how
probably
hard it
some.
was to trim down that car scene? He had to let her.
Oh,
He had to go to girly good lines, but it was
he
just.
had so many good lines. I was like, I
Yeah.
don't know how Alan is gonna pick from this. We trimmed
Right.
that a lot. They talked
Mhm.
the first cut we got. They talked for a good 15 minutes. I was like, bro, we can't. Yeah, we gotta move on from this. He talked about
Yeah.
how he got into prison. He talked about what they did in prison to it. Like he talked about all that. Like, man,
You want to know how it is? No.
it was a long conversation. Yeah, because Rob was he kept remembering he was saying. I always keep saying that. I said in the interview with Lisa, but it was amazing how they kept remembering their lines. Like
Yeah.
because we would watch it again, and they would say it again. I'm like, man, that's crazy. So kudos to our actors.
Right. Now on to our lovely production schedules. Day 1, Gold Medal Park, 5/13/18. So May 13th, 2018. That was a hot day.
That was a hot day. That was Mother's Day actually. Yeah.
Wow, yeah, I think you're right.
Mother's Day, and I think did we pick that location, or weren't we going to shoot further down, but it was like crowded over there, or like there's way too many people
There were a
like
lot of
down
people there.
there. Just think about that. That's not a thing now. Way too many
Yeah.
people. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, I thought about that watching the movie too. Like I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
people in places with each other, no masks.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was a Sunday, it looks like. Yep, so that would have been Mother's Day.
Mhm. Yeah, it was a good day. I mean, I had fun. It was nice. It was a warm day.
Yeah.
We got to hang out at Gold Medal Park. I remember that movie making us hang out at places that I don't really hang out at a lot. So that was really cool. I don't really hang out at
Yeah.
Gold Medal Park. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a thing that I do, but now I do, but not until then.
Oh,
So,
really? Okay.
Yeah, it's a
like,
beautiful park.
Yeah, I never knew Izzy's was over there. I remember going there a lot. Like after shooting that movie, we had moved to my apartment now, so we used to walk to Izzy's that summer. So, good times.
And in the movie, this was the scene with Paige and Tess, and they're talking by the Guthrie. So Jane and Oni, feel free to chime in.
So that was the first scene.
That was day 1.
That was the first scene.
Yeah.
Day 1.
Wow.
And the main connector there was talk about DJ Clay and his new album, 1%. Well, we didn't know then, right? Did we know
that
it
was the
1%?
main connector? And then also, it was Greg's character that was the main connector.
Yeah.
Like with that algorithm of that AI he was working on.
Yep.
So they used to work together. So
yeah, establish how they know each other.
Yeah, establish how they know each other. Connect, Greg's character with them, and then DJ Clay.
Yeah, we touched a lot in there. They did a good job. They threaded that needle when there was no needle to be seen.
Nothing. They didn't know anything about it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm surprised. That's like, I wouldn't have guessed that was the first shot because they did do, like, they did a really great job, like, of playing that, like, as the energy, like, Paige's peak Paige.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And that was a really good day. That was a great day. It was tough getting sound that day. I mean,
that's what I was gonna ask about because I remember,
every
day 1 for you, Colby.
Outside was tough. I've never done sound before, so that was great. It was a good time.
Yeah, We lucked out because the side of the sidewalk that we were on, no one was really walking there. They all wanted to like walk closer to the hill or the Guthrie. I remember when we got there, you guys came up and like Lauren was holding the hanger with the clothes on it, and you had carried something else out, and then Victoria was setting up over on the park side, and it's like this. Yeah, we're all here, but it's a big space to meet. So, so we did gather over kind of where there were benches so that Victoria could do makeup.
Shout out to that place too, and we can touch on this later. But really good, great people who let us shoot and weren't trying to be in our scene or like ask us questions too much. I remember that being like that day spoiled us when it came to shooting in the crowd because like
we'll get there.
It was an easy day. People were just kind of like, oh, what are you shooting? And then that was pretty much it.
Well, that's it. It was like one of the first warm days of the year.
Yep, that's true.
Or weekends. And I think that's why, people were just happy to be out. They, just wanted to enjoy being outside.
Mm-hmm. That was a great day.
Yeah. And we had like one clip of us like setting up sound, and that's about it. I think Lauren took it or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's on our Instagram stories, like highlight reel thing for behind the scenes stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that I just remember we had like earbuds. I was like, we didn't even have like headphones. It was bad. It was so bad.
Very guerrilla tactic shooting, like very just. We jumped out of a helicopter and shot it, and then jumped back to the helicopter and flew. Like it was just like it was not much to it. It was like bam, iPhone, bam, boom, mic. All right, let's get out of here.
Which, yeah, like I, if you don't mind me jumping in really quick, I had a question for Alan about like the process of how you kind of your post process with that scene specifically. I was really interested because it's sounds a lot different than the first time I watched that scene.
Yeah, Colby. Man. Wonder why that is. No.
I mean, I'm not throwing shade on anybody. I'm just, I'm more interested in just the process because, like,
sound came last. I knew I wanted to cut everything right first for the story, and then I would worry about our god awful sound in the first cut that you guys saw. I think you all saw it.
Yes, I did.
Oni, what'd you think? Did you see that?
I think that was like this past summer.
No, that was early.
Cut? Oh no, I was like
last year.
That was like in the winter time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh. I'm not all right. Can I say when I watched the first cut, Lauren was like, "Don't tell me anything, but how do you feel about it?" And I was like, "It's not gonna happen."
Yes,
it's not gonna happen. And she was like, "That bad?" I was like, "The sound is so like honestly, I can't. The thing that we have to fix, we can't do it now." And I was like, it was me with the sound. It wasn't really like anything else. It was just like the sound was so bad. I was like, I can't. I was so mad at myself. Like, we can't do anything with that sound. But you saved it some kind of way. So
yes,
for the most part. I mean, people are watching this that first cut because we were shooting outside so much. The wind was kicking our butt out there. And so it was just a lot of like, wait for the wind. All right, let's try to shoot it now.
Or there's an airplane, or there's a cop siren, or it's like.
I never even thought about that part though. Shooting with the noises, the police sirens, the fire sirens, the helicopters, the air, like all the city noise that you don't think about. That will affect your film, like people screaming for no reason. This scream, you know what I mean?
I live downtown, so
you get it, yeah. Like, why are you yelling right now? But it's the people.
Yeah. Yeah, that day we got our feet wet. We got spoiled, as you said.
Great day. Awesome day, yes.
And I got sunburned on my forearms. I remember that because I came home and next to my couch, I was like, oh, I'm like my couch. And my couch is red. So it's like, I'm going to feel this in the morning. And we have to shoot the next day, which is Monday.
That was at the radio station, wasn't it?
Day 2 was KFAI, yep. Thanks to DJ SLT for that hookup via Oni.
Thanks for my job for letting me use PTO that day, too. I remember I was nervous about it, like, I put the work.
Oh.
I didn't tell them. I was like, hey, I can't come in. I have to shoot my movie. And she was like, all right, I'll get PTO. Like, she was just so cool. Like, shout out my old boss, Anna. She was awesome. So.
Yeah, we'll get to that too because we used her office or someone's.
Sure did.
Man, now you just brought up the schedule, and I'm like, we shot a feature in 13 days, guys.
Especially with being all improv, that's kind of insane.
It was nuts. I was like, what are you doing, Alan?
And Oni handed me the music first. It's like, how did this whole thing not go off the rails real quick?
Yeah.
I mean, I could sense it with a few people. Just kind of being like,
people were not happy.
I don't know about this.
People were not happy with the timing and
yeah,
and I get it. I mean, I get it, but like people had my thing was like get both sides of it. Alan has a life. I have a life. Everybody has a life, so we gotta get this done. You know what I mean? And
some people had like every other weekend they could film. Some people had, well, I can as long as I know ahead of time, and it's like, yeah, but everyone else's schedule doesn't really work. So
yeah, you're working with a bunch of artists who don't, and not everyone works a 9 to 5, and I had to get over that. That's my thing, and everybody works my schedule.
Yeah. I had a full-time job too, and plus I had weekends where I did film like weddings, and we mainly shot on the weekends. So we'll kind of keep going here. Day 2 was May 14th, 2018. KFAI. So Devel's first day, Leon's first day. Abisha, yep.
We got spoiled that day. We were inside, most part. It wasn't windy outside. It wasn't that bad outside that day. That was a pretty easy sound day at least. And shooting at KFAI, am I saying that right?
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot of fun, just being in that building. That was a good time getting to know people. I got to know Devel. I really didn't know Devel until like that day, really. And so we got kind of get to know each other more. And I already knew Leon for the most part, kind of. Not well, but I knew him. And that was a great. I remember we had a little debacle with the with our memory size, our storage.
Yeah, so on this day, Alan learns about the iPhone and its prima donna state, which is, I don't want to work because I don't like that thing you gave me. You know, it's like, it's like, I don't want to give this to your flash drive. I think it's that easy to take something from me, you know?
Right.
So Colby, thank God you had your laptop. And so we connected the phone and we put stuff down to your computer, but the first take was 30 minutes, guys. The first take of that radio scene, the master was 30 minutes at least. And this was probably the hardest scene to edit because it was so long. And then we did shorter takes after because we went into the hall to kind of get a B shot of there because it's like, she doesn't need to be here for all this. So let's do that, come back in, and then we can kind of just redo it. or shorten it a bit. So we did that, and that was fun, right, Colby? The whole hallway.
That was fun. It reminded me now that was the first day of me kind of realizing how kind of like improv was not easy, because we had to like get Tom, DeVell, and me on the same page of how to hit these points without talking about other things too much, but making it seem like an authentic conversation.
Right.
I remember that being a thing. Like, all right, you guys please get to the point though. Like, all right, yeah, like get to the point and to get to that. You know what I mean? Which they figured it out, but yeah, that was a long day. I mean, every day was a long day. I don't know why I say that, but
well, yeah, because like the hallway with Abisha, I remember that was real quick. I mean,
that was fast. Yeah. That wasn't the longest day. That wasn't that long per se, but it was just that conversation.
Yeah,
that they had.
It was a quick morning because I remember we got there, I think, pretty early.
We were done in the middle of the day.
Was it? Because I know,
1 p.m.
Because we had that sidewalk scene also outside.
Yeah, we shot that first.
No, that was last. That was last on the day.
That was last. You're right. Yep.
Yeah, so we very hard to edit the radio station scene, and because it did seem kind of boring, in order to make it better, I had to intercut it with the gaming scene and Paige's like connection, and everyone's kind of multiple things.
I think it played really well. I liked intercutting made sense.
Yeah, because
I think we talked about that.
Yeah.
I just
remember in the edits.
Well, I remember when we were like coming, like that had been one of the ideas that the way that we would tie in DJ Clay is having people hearing.
Hear him on the radio.
Stuff. And but so it worked really well.
Yeah, and it gave me a cutaway.
Yeah. Which coverage.
And same with
I had been there, I would have been on your ass for coverage the whole time.
It wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered, Jane, because nothing was the same. When you cut to something else, it's like suddenly they're talking about something else. It's like,
I meant like just like their hands or like little places where you can edit.
I see.
That type of coverage, like.
Well, when you have a 30-minute take, it's like, we don't have time to do more. It's like we ran out of time. Yeah. Which was, but yes, you're right. Had you been there, I know. The pseudo script supervisor says we.
No, that makes sense. That would have been really helpful for some things, I'm sure. Like, there's probably a bunch of times I'm like, we should have put. I mean, we did when we were doing editing. We're like, we need something there because the time doesn't make sense. So we need something in that. And you did a great job of like editing that. We can talk about that later. But
I dropped in the huge edit.
Yeah, there's one scene I'm like, that's not gonna work. I think the one scene in the movie, when I first watched it, I was like, that makes no sense. And I was like, you have to put something in the middle of that. But we'll talk about that later.
Okay. You can talk about it now if you think about it.
Yeah, I mean the big one was the listening party. And when we had them talking and blah blah blah, and they're like, "All right, we'll wrap it up."
We'll get to that.
Wrap it
up. Day 3, May 20th, 2018, the Lakeville House.
Oh man,
that was a Sunday.
Yeah,
like little kitten on set.
Can I say one thing?
That outtake, I was like, that should have been the main take. Leave that in.
That was cute.
That is an extra now. You're lucky I didn't see that before you finished editing the film, or would have fought for that cat.
Yeah.
I hope Andy sees this. Shout out to Andy for coming out for that one scene. We needed you to come out there, so I'm glad you did. But like, you were there you were only there for like an hour. And then she was out. Like she drove so far. So thank you for doing that. Because they did so much, man. That always blew me away.
It was far for I think a lot of people. Obviously, that deep in South, but we got a lot done that day. Ava, that was the only day for Ava.
And if she didn't, that was only for Ava. And if Andy didn't come out there to do that scene, it would have made no sense. Watching the movie. So man, huge.
Wow, huge. You only had one day for all of Ava's scenes?
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Wow.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Well, she did great.
Yeah. So we started the day with the kitchen scene in the opening sequence, and then we moved to the other kitchen scene towards the end of the film with Elizabeth and Jen. And Elizabeth was very vocal about that, both in our, she expressed how she felt about that, how she thought she did on that scene with Jen and herself. Because she did not feel good about that at all. She apparently told so many stories to so many people about how bad that scene was for her. And
really?
Yeah, because if you listen to the podcast, look at our cast and crew premiere post discussion, she did not feel good about that scene at all. But
did she feel better about it after she'd seen it?
On the podcast, she did say that, it's one of her favorite scenes in the movie.
Oh, thank goodness. Because I was I think that was such a strong scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one in the kitchen, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. That's the power. Yeah. That's
which is just off the job, right?
But it goes to how your memory works,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I think it's easy to be. I have a hard time with that myself too. With things I do, I'm hypercritical of everything I do.
And I remember shooting that scene. That day was a blur to me. I remember the cat, and I remember not being able to get in a good position in the basement to catch the sound from Ava and Jennifer, and it just wasn't. I don't know what it was. That first, I don't know why that room was hard, but it just was.
Well, I love those scenes. I think you guys did a great job.
They were great. Yeah.
Yeah, the scene in the kitchen and the scene with Ava and Jennifer on the couch, where talking about the accident and stuff like that, and they're cuddled up with the blankets. I was I love this scene. This is a good scene.
Right.
I'm not. They were really good scenes. That was a good time. One of my favorite scenes is the scene in the car. Only because if you were really there, we laughed a lot during that scene because Ava kept getting in and laughing, when she get into she just laughed again, she couldn't help it. There's a lot of laughing that day.
If you want, the bloopers are coming out on Christmas, but it's kind of if you see the way Jen sets up that line, it's this happened, then this happened, then this happened. It's that's kind of ridiculous. I get it.
Yeah, she could laugh. Yeah. This is crazy. Or she would get in the car and look back at me in accident, and I was sitting back there this with the boom mic, and so she would look at me and start laughing again. I gotta do it again. It was pretty funny that day.
Yeah, because you had to be out of sight of the camera, but you were in her sight because when she came in, you would have been over here.
I was sitting right here with
aiming the mic at her, you saw nothing.
How was Ava with doing the improv since she only had one day?
She was sharp.
She was awesome. I think her mom was kind of what? But I think her mom was also she kind of was at the meetings before. But
tilt your camera up, Colby.
Oh, sorry. I think Ava was. It was nothing to her. I don't know how you feel, Alan, but it was like another day in the park. She killed it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, yeah, there were.
She had questions. She had
Yeah,
a few questions about like video games. Like she didn't play video games, so
right.
she had to ask about that. And I don't know.
The mumblecore style really surprised her, I think, in a lot of the scenes, which is kind of the film term of improv for us. What we did here, just the way Jen would come up with those lines, and she didn't know what to expect, so it was just kind of like, wow, that happened to you. How are you here, you know?
Jen has some pretty crazy like accidents that happened to her. every scene it was like, geez,
it was
man.
raining, there was a person who wasn't supposed to be in the car, I was on my bike and they hit me. It's just like,
and they were drunk
or something.
like,
yeah,
what, man.
Yeah, we had talked that out a little bit over email, I think. We like, yeah.
What'd you guys discuss? Did she want to know like how she got injured? And
yeah, well, I think I don't know if I actually said anything specific, but we just kind of talked out like the ideas behind like that with the character, which is a little funny because now, well, not funny, haha, funny, strange. I am now disabled and in a but from illness. So it's a little fun, like the way that she plays the back pain is very real to me.
oh yeah, believe it.
So yeah. So yeah, I don't remember talking specifically about the injury, but just like we talked about like kind of going over like having one kind of life and then an event happens and you're trying to like find a new way and a new way to connect. And that video games kind of provided a lot of the excitement that she was had.
Yeah, because she was in the Peace Corps in this. That's where we arrived with her character. Ironically, Andy actually joined the Peace Corps. So
yeah, that was funny. Yeah.
Oh, funny.
But okay, so Lakeville. Let's see, the kitten. I remember in that take in the bloopers, like I said, action, and then apparently the kitten ran down.
It was perfect. It looked like it was rehearsed. I've seen this blooper, and like that scene plays out perfectly. They don't even react to the cat, and the cat comes in when it starts and like exits the frame like right at the end, like in like one solid shot. I was like,
you could have kept it.
No, the take ended. It was a continuous take. So by the time we got to Elizabeth, it was over. It was over.
Yeah, that's all right. It's hilarious as an outtake. It's
yes.
like because it plays like anyway. It's funny.
Yeah,
that was a good time.
And then we went to the school afterwards to film the car scene, which really closes the third act for them.
Mm-hmm. That was nice.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like it was some. No, it was. I guess it was because it was May, but it was the weekend, so school wasn't there, so no one was there, so able to get away with that.
Nice day too.
Day 4 is the 21st of May, which is a Monday.
What do we shoot that day?
This is Courtyard Marriott, Bloomington. That's the conference room scenes. All the conference room scenes.
Oh, man. I didn't do sound that day though. I did a little bit. I traded it off a little bit, which was nice.
Yeah, we had Elena come in to assist.
Thank you, Elena.
Yep. She was probably as mortified as the actors. Just in talking to Elizabeth, at least, about that, and hearing from DeVell and Leon, and just, all the actors had the same anxieties going into it. And I can only imagine, just make it up. She has to do this interview scene.
Yeah, and you know nothing about it. Like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it has to be about tech.
Yeah. I forgot that was a worry for some people. So, and it panned out.
Greg killed it that day. An event. Originally, Oliver's character was supposed to have voiceover like Mr. Robot, but the edit didn't get done quickly enough to find the story until Grant moved away.
Yep.
And then by then it was kind of made sense not to do voiceover, because it's like, how is he narrating? Only one narrating, but he's not really narrating everything. So
right, true. That makes sense.
It wouldn't have made as much sense if there was one voiceover and it wasn't omniscient type of voiceover kind of. But they really played up the Silas entity, I suppose.
That was good. I like that. I like the fake names of companies.
Pre-Tech.
Really cool. Pre-Tech and Silas. I don't know.
They sound like,
like real companies. Yeah.
And day 5 was 2-parter on May 28th, which was a Monday. Oh, that was Memorial Day.
That was a day off. Yep.
So that was 2-parter, Downtown Corrections and Izzy's.
That was an interesting day. We will get it. 'Cause I had to go get my dad's car that day.
Yeah.
And he was big on don't get my license plate in it, and it's really a lot of stipulations on the car, and on my dad. Look, man,
I didn't know that. I'm glad I cut his license plate out, but
I think I said it. You were like, yeah, don't worry about it. We just kept shooting. I'm like, all right, well,
look, I gotta get this shot right now. Okay,
I remember a big thing too. We could not find a restroom out there. Like, we couldn't use the restroom.
Yeah.
We would walk to the Starbucks. It was hot that day.
We had to go into the corrections facility to use the bathroom.
Yeah, we went in there.
I remember going in saying, I gotta use this, and they're like, well, hold up, who are you?
Yeah.
It's like,
let us in. Be like, yeah, we don't do this a lot or whatever, but you can do it. You can use the bathroom.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, my bad. That was we had a tough time with that. Yeah, it was a crazy day.
And I remember going in there because I talked to someone in the police department about filming there that day, and as well as the permits to film there. So someone in the building knew, but not like the security guards of the building.
Not the 6'6", 280-pound security guards.
Yeah,
we did not know. We were like, yeah. Oh man. I remember that. I remember. You probably don't remember this, but that car, if you leave it off, it makes a weird sound.
Yeah, that seat, the butt cushion or something kept deflating or something.
Yeah, so every time he would shoot, he would drive up the car and turn the car off. When the bell would get in, they start talking and I went, oh my god. So a lot, man.
Yeah. So there was, and then we took a break to go do Izzy's with Grant.
That was. I don't remember anything hard. We didn't do much. That we just kind of made it look cool. Great lighting in that place.
Yeah. Sadly gone now.
R.I.P.
Pandemic took that from us. yeah, I looked at their Instagram. It just showed, they were open in August.
Yeah.
But now they're gone. So, but they do have ice cream at like Lund's, Byerly's, things like that. So
Pizza Luce. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a nice kind of setup there. We got some pretty nice shots of him just at his computer, kind of establishing the routine. Yeah, I remember the car earlier that day. What do you think, Colby? Because it got really hot, didn't it?
It got hot. Yes.
Then we had to turn off the air conditioning in the car.
We had to turn the air on. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had to turn the air off because it was too loud for the sound. And so you sweat, and it was just, yeah. But we got it done.
Yeah.
So were there two of you in the back of the car?
Yeah.
The back.
Yeah, we were both in the back seat.
So the phone, I had it like obviously in the center by the console. Colby had the boom mic like come up underneath, so it was kind of moving back and forth there. And there's this one part that annoys me in the Filmic Pro app. All their stuff is at the bottom, so it covers up everything. So when I played the footage back in some of the shots, there's the boom mic just sticking up, and I'm like, oh, God. This is not good. So luckily we filmed in 4K, so we can kind of bring it up a bit.
So there are four of you in a car in the summer with the windows closed.
Yeah.
No air.
Because we can't have extra outside noise. We're trying to avoid that. And I remember filming like DeVel's first shot, him getting into the car, coming down the stairs, and this kid comes up to me and is like, is he gonna parkour?
There were some weird people like remember people were like talking to Lauren outside and we're like, you got go away, please. But we got used to that.
I asked Elizabeth that because we talked about that on the podcast, and it's just kind of like, how much better would it have been had DeVel parkoured his way into the car? You think that would have been like, yeah, that made the film.
Across the front of the car. That'd be
but
great.
I had my iPhone out, right? So it's like, oh, you're going to do like a social media thing here. That's what's going on. So.
I guess so.
Electric addiction.
I remember every time we're like, hey, we're shooting a film, people like, where's the camera? And we're like, oh, the phone. And they're just like, oh, okay, you're shooting a film.
Whatever, guys. Whatever floats your boat, you think you're filming.
Yeah. That was funny.
Like for like outside shots, that had to make it so much easier for like people not to try to get involved because you're not sitting there with like a big camera or anything. You just the phone and.
You would think, yeah. You would think so.
But not always.
Yeah, it made it seem easier to get away with shots, I think. But after that, it's like, if you do things like what Colby said, it's just kind of like, what?
Yeah.
Same with all our actors, apparently. They were like, shot on the iPhone.
Yeah.
I thought this was a movie.
Right.
So, day 6 was the office scene in Egan. So that's Colby on May 29. May 29. That was a Tuesday.
Yeah, that was a fun day.
Wow. So Monday, hard. Tuesday that week. Yeah. This had Gabby, Elizabeth.
That was it.
Yeah. All their scenes.
And we got all that knocked out. We kept laughing at Gabby's lipstick.
That was the last setup.
It was on her teeth. She did a great job. She just comes off as like an authoritative boss.
Yeah.
But cared. You could tell she cared about Elizabeth, but
she also like like I think it happens a lot like with like she has to like extra play up like her authoritativeness in order to get people to take her seriously. Like
Right.
I was gonna
that
mention
energy.
that. I
Yeah.
felt that energy from her where, you know, she got to as a woman
Yeah.
for being more authoritative. You know what I mean? Because she had to be that person.
Yeah.
Because like when she mentions, "Oh, my kids," she's like, "Oh man, find a nanny or whatever,
Yeah.
figure it out."
Yeah.
It was more of like I had to figure it out, so you had to
Yeah.
figure it out. So, and I felt that for real when she she let her go. She was really sorry about it. Like you could tell, like I don't want to let you go, but I gotta do it. So she played that role really well. I feel like a lot of our characters, maybe I'm just because I did the movie, I worked on the movie, but I feel like they had a lot of depth into them.
Yeah. I think they did. Yeah.
You know, they weren't playing a certain type of person.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks to our supporting cast, our day players who just showed up, you know, for those 1 days.
Yeah.
And just help support the main cast all the more.
Right.
Just really, you know, gave them a little more to play off of instead of just our main 9. And that's kind of like life. Those rained really hard. I was really worried about the sound in that firing scene because that's when it started to rain really hard.
Yeah.
And it was nighttime.
I was nervous within my boss's. I'm not sure. No, it was in our office, and so I was like, I hope like I put everything back because like I don't want to get in trouble, and hope when she sees this, she doesn't get mad at me. And so, it was weird watching it because like I know that like I worked there, so it's so interesting to see that whole area and it kind of takes you back.
Yeah, and that was a Tuesday, so you would have been at work that day.
Yep,
I remember.
Yep, I worked, and I just stayed at work that day.
Day 7. Well, this is June. We're into June 3rd. It's like a Sunday. So we filmed that week, and then we moved to weekend on the 3rd. And this is the listening party.
Yeah.
Lisa's debut.
Lisa did great.
Oni's debut.
Oni, honestly, I feel like I try to get people to get there. I felt like I get way more people there. It just didn't happen. It was the same day as Grand Old Day, or not?
Yeah.
Grand Old Day. Yeah, Grand Old Day is.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. Yeah, and so everyone went to which I mean I get it, but so I thought I had way more people there, but it was a good time. That scene was fun. Lisa made it fun. I think Lisa kind of brought my spirits up a little bit. I thought I had way more friends there, but it is what it is. So
I remember you, Rod, Devel, Leon, all kind of blocking out the scenes of like, okay, what are we doing exactly? You know, because obviously people were like, what are we doing with this film?
Yeah.
And this is probably, we eventually added another scene for Rod, but this was like, initially we were thinking this was kind of it.
Yeah, we just thought the last day.
Yeah.
And you were kind of like, probably not the last day. We were like, oh, all right. Which I was actually happy for because I felt like it was too bare. Like a lot of stories were a little bit too bare. We didn't have enough in them.
So yeah, at this one we had the listening party. Oh, yeah, of course. Obviously, Lisa kills it, just being herself. Luckily, just doing her thing.
Man,
man, if you think about like what 2020 has done to so many things, like Go 95 is gone. It went under. So it's just kind of like Izzy's Go 95. Everything that we had like kind of a connection to is now just like.
I'm disabled because. Sorry.
Huh?
Oh, nothing.
No, say it. No, say it.
Oh no, I had COVID-19.
Right.
And it aggravated a genetic
Yeah.
condition that I have. So like I'm disabled. I can't work and have a lot of difficulties.
Right.
Which I meant to say in a funny way, but then realized there's no way to really say that in a funny way, and then tried to back out of what I was saying very quickly and couldn't.
Right. But I mean, now we kind of have it memorialized in that way, like these
like
people
life
and
has
places.
changed like so much in like 2 years. Like it's just kind of wild to like go back and look at this film, and it's almost like a time capsule. Like not in a bad way, like in a very interesting way to me. Like yeah.
Like,
things
technology
are different
changed.
Yeah.
Things are totally different. I'm piggybacking on what you said, Jane. What will we have made in 2020? We definitely would have gotten to speak on a lot more. This film was shot, you know what I mean? Now, it would be way more to speak on. We'd have to speak on it. Especially with COVID. I think I would love, like with my job as a social worker, I would love to dive into more people who are disabled and have to cope with COVID, and you know what I mean, not having the job that they used to have or wanted, or you know what I mean. So I think about it a lot when I think about this film. What happened with George Floyd? That'd be something we definitely would touch on.
Oh yeah, and I've come out as trans since we worked on.
That's a bigger deal. You know what I mean?
So it's me like life happens and things change, but yeah, the George Floyd though, yes, like definitely that's a big thing that happened in this city, and it totally changed this city forever. Like I mean, like like police were dropping tear gas out of helicopters in my neighborhood. It was fucking nuts. Like,
crazy.
Yeah, and like
I mean, only you live in South Minneapolis.
Yeah, like I worked about. It was crazy here, and like I work about 2 blocks away from the 3rd precinct.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Like I work at a home health care company, so I was literally bringing like medical supplies from work to bring this to donate to people and stuff to different places. I'm like, we're not using this as much as we need, so I'm just taking it.
That's lovely. Yeah.
But it was just like thing going on, and it was just
it was terrifying. Like
it was scary, and but it's such an interesting character study of the people who live here. And I don't want to get too much into politics, but it's the people that live in Minneapolis did for people in Minneapolis. And the people outside of Minneapolis had something to say with all the people who lived in Minneapolis. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally. There were so many people saying shit, and I'm like, nope, you don't know what it's like here.
You don't know what's going on here. And I have people who are my family members who would say stuff about it. I'm like, but you don't know what's going on. You're not there. You're not. You didn't know what. Like, it's not dangerous. Be careful, but you should be careful anywhere. So I can't even imagine shooting that film now. What we would have to comment on.
Well, I know that like with Lisa being there, and then also like filming at Izzy's, and then filming on the iPhone 6S Plus. We're at iPhone 12 right now, people.
Right?
It's been 2 years.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I'm just saying.
Interesting.
It's been amped up all that much more technology. So in this one, especially with like Erica's character, everyone in the room was fooled. Everyone thought she was this character. I remember at the end of one of the takes where she's leaving with Leon, like people were just like, ugh, like really, like, I mean, she had everyone fooled.
Yeah.
All her extras.
They didn't like it. Yeah. They did not like it. That's true.
Yeah. Because she had that high-pitched voice where it's like, that's very Valley Girl like, and that was kind of the.
I remember telling
setup.
myself like I can't stand that character, but she's doing it so well. Like that's what I remember. Like it wasn't like about the person. Yeah, it was like character, and it was just like, but she's doing exactly what you wanted to do. Like you like how the Vel's reacting to it is how you would react to somebody like that. And so,
and it makes you feel. I feel like that reaction made me feel like so sorry for that character, like especially like it's like just such a
she's so good though. Like when he's like
she's so
when
good
he's like trying to get Trey to she's like, hey, what's wrong with your neck? I got something for that. Like she knew what he was doing, but like she was just like trying to stay under character at the same time. It was so oh man, it was so good.
I love Leon's reactions to the two ladies talking. If you watch him during that exchange, watch him. It is hilarious. I mean, because we could only do like one single take because it was all one continuous take. But that one, watch him the next time you watch the film because you'll laugh your butts off. I swear.
And actually, I love that the listening party is the size that it is. I think that adds like a layer. It's like
exclusive.
Yeah.
That's what I felt. Not many people there. I know we don't have much time, but the locations that we were able to pull off are just we kind of just pulled them out of nowhere a lot. So I'm like, oh, we got lucky or something fell it through or whatever the case.
We didn't have equipment, but we had makeup, we had food, things like that every day. I remember just having to haul like food, and it was just nice to have people around in this one because then I didn't have to haul everything myself. It's like big, things of water and just snacks, everything. So.
That one was fun for me because I got to see how everything was working in the process and how people were like making up their stuff, like reworking it as they go and doing different takes. And
you met us here at halftime here, it looks like. So halfway through the production, so you're kind of like checking in.
It was kind of checking in for Oni because we're like halfway done at that point. How many days left did we have after that? We had like 4 more shots, right? 4 more days.
No, we had like 6. So or 5 or 6. Jeez. But Oni, what was your impression of like Lisa, DeVell when you were like there, obviously?
Like Lisa and DeVell, like the way that they bounced off each other and worked together, it was just very quick, very natural.
Yes.
It like seeing how she worked with like DeVell and with Rod too, it felt almost like you were just like being a creeper with a camera and just like sneaking up on someone's conversation. It just felt like, which I think that goes back to the whole mumblecore thing where it's like they're saying it in like their own voices instead of like working off of what's written for them. So it flows better.
And the whole piano scene with Leon and DeVell.
That was my favorite scene. I love that conversation.
The line that sticks out to me is "if need be," because they said it like 3 times. So it's like he said it, then he's like, "If need be, it'd be nice if you were next to your phone, if you'd answer your phone."
It's like you get me in this situation, you get me up, but you don't help me get down. I need to get me down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's what's like I felt like that, and then he was like, "Well, I'm not the babysitter," like, which is I don't want to get too personal, but I could see both sides of that. Like I have been on both sides of the fence. Like
same.
You were there, you popped all this off, but you just bounced and didn't do anything, and then I had to handle it for you. Or then you have the friend who just is crazy. You're like, I can't watch you everywhere. So I made sure that was in the conversation because I've had those conversations with people before, and both are kind of wrong. You shouldn't, you need to handle yourself, but you need to be there for your friend. So
right, I've been in that situation before, also, and also in business, like doing film. Just people bouncing out when it's like, you could have just communicated something to me. It would have been fine.
Yeah.
But you didn't. And oh, well, but then we have like the next day, day 8, June 4th, we had Z's Diner in the morning. That was weird. Get to that in a second.
That day. I think I missed that day.
You were gone in the morning, and then at night we hit the Hennepin Bridge. This would be
that
Monday.
Was the day.
Monday? 6/4.
No, we shot that afternoon. We shot that on a Sunday.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess the date must be wrong. Yeah, I think it was a Sunday also, so it must have been 6/3. So then the listening party would have been on Saturday. Yeah. So I remember the diner when I first met with the owners. They were receptive, luckily, but they just wanted to know what it was about, and told them about the iPhone, and they saw my schedule, and it was like a mess, and it was like, you got a lot going on. But then we have.
Can I say one thing on the diner though? And I wasn't there, but I knew from the conversation they were having that was actually real conversations. Like Andy going to Paris, and then Jennifer talking about she was like, well, I don't know if that was true or not, but that was a real conversation. Wasn't it? Like they actually did those things. That was cool. I thought.
Yeah.
Sounds like a real story.
Yeah, she actually Jen talked about her time in Berlin when the wall was up. So that was real.
Yeah, I love that bit in there. That was really cool.
It was nice to give them, because we got there early, and I was just like, she told me that, and I was like, you should talk about that when you meet her. Then you should just say that, because she talks about France, and then that leads into, I spent time here. So that was tough because I didn't have a sound person. It was just me and Victoria. So audio was not fun for that scene. It was just way, way back. I couldn't do the camera and the audio at the same time. So it was like, that was a tough scene. Plus I remember we were left in the diner, like everyone left. It was like, where isn't someone gonna stick around and watch? Or it's like, no, they just left. They gave us the entire diner.
Yeah.
I thought that was
in for you.
Yeah. It's like, okay, let's get some mugs, let's menus. But yeah, they were really cool about it, so that was nice.
Nice.
And the Hennepin Bridge.
Probably the prettiest scene. I don't know how you guys feel, but that.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Was cool, that grain belt sign, and that was a fun night to shoot. It's kind of nerve wracking with the bugs and like random people yelling for no reason, and that's what was going on.
I know that area, so I'm like, I bet, yeah.
Why are they yelling down there? Like, that wasn't the only time we heard yelling. So
yeah, the bridge scene. So it was a few times people would come up the stairs or come down. It's just like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
just an iPhone. Don't worry.
Come on, guys.
But I remember thinking like, it was kind of hard with the iPhone filming at night. It was kind of good, just because you can kind of adjust to the light that's in the scene, but the way, even with the Filmic Pro app, like the way it handled highlights and shadows was different. So it's not really dynamic range on the 6S Plus. So not like the 12 Pro today. So it wasn't as advanced. The next day would be Nicolette. Oh, well, just to talk about the scene real quick on the bridge. This is what gave Tessa's character some more depth.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
I think originally she was kind of more of a throwaway character into this, social media superficial person.
She was kind of someone to build off of DJ. We wanted someone who was like the polar opposite of DJ Clay, and then this scene kind of, that's weird. This scene kind of made her kind of whole, I guess.
Yeah, it filled in that gap between she worked at HR and then with Silas, and then now she's a YouTuber.
Yeah,
it's like, well, how'd you do that?
Mm-hmm. She reveals her real name.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
and it kind of like also like you see how she's actually kind of impressive. Like she's done this all on her own and like build up all of this stuff, and like sure it might like it's a superficial character, but like she's very good at it.
You're human, yeah. That's what
yeah.
And I think with Trey's character, make him more well-rounded. He's not just the jerk. He's kind of coming off as someone like, well, I thought we had an agreement. This is the life we live, and I'm gonna do my thing when it's time for me to do my thing. And you do your thing when you do your thing. And we, that's how we make our money. And it made him kind of be like, well, maybe he doesn't want the life that I thought we like. He's somehow maybe that's not the life Clay wants, and maybe I need to move on. So I thought that was helpful. I thought every character in this film had more of a backstory than it's a side character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and it made sense that these two found each other because they were already, kind of living that life. Yeah, and then day 9, Nicolette Mall, Colby, take it away.
Where do you want to start? The wind?
Yeah.
Well, Nicolette Mall is a wind tunnel. That place, that stretch is always windy.
Yeah.
You can hear it in this scene. I couldn't quite get it completely gone, but.
And then so we're battling the wind, and then these men decide to harass us.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
That was the first time, that was the first time I actually I was like, all right, this is what women go through every day. Like, you guys don't haul off and beat them up. Like, really? Like, I would just what they were saying to Erica and Lauren were just like, bro. And I was trying to be professional. I trying to shoot a film. I'm with Alan. We're trying to get this done. We don't have time for this BS. But I was about to take them headphones off. I'm like, bro, all right, I'm gonna handle this. But then some guy yelled during our shot for no reason. I was not happy. But
real characters downtown.
Yeah, what is wrong with them? But,
and this one guy who was like, well, Europeans are a lot nicer than Americans. And it's like, dude, we're working here. We don't have time to entertain you,
He asked Lauren, what are you doing? And Lauren's like, shooting a film. No, she had the clapper.
Yeah.
And he asked her what she said, I don't know. He was like, you don't know what it is? And she was like, no, I don't know what it is. And he was like, how come you don't know what it is? I said, if you don't go on somewhere right now and get away, she's working. And then he said you should travel more. People are nice around the world. I'm like, we're working right now, man.
Yeah.
What do you...
Yeah.
What a day.
It was a day. We had caribou coffee for them. Erica and Grant.
Coffee was great.
They had to talk about things they knew nothing about, and
it makes it up. I don't know how we did it. I had no idea what they're talking about either. To be honest with you, when we shot.
Yeah, I thought you guys did a good job putting the tech talk in there. Honestly, like it.
and then you watch
Yeah.
it. Like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. I didn't know entirely. I do know more now, but if I had known then what I know now, then I would know how to say that.
Yeah.
And then day 10, we go to Grant's computer scenes. That was just me and him. We found the video that shows like how he hacked into the passwords. If you look on the computer screen, the computer is going through passwords and usernames for the thing. And that's how he gets the access to all of Silas's data, basically. Things he shouldn't be doing on his own. And that's where, Roger has something to say about that. So people may or may not pick that up just because it's overlaid with music. And then we move into Stadium Sounds. It says 6/18. I don't know if these dates are accurate anymore.
What day? That like it was like a Monday or it was a weekday.
Yeah, Monday the 18th. It says here. That was weird.
That was an interesting day. I had no issues with it whatsoever. I didn't know what we were walking into.
Yeah, me neither.
Actual real like studio where people are actually making music and doing what artists do. I had no idea that we're walking into that. Yeah. And so there was I don't know, like 10 people there, right? There was like a few people there like in the back of like the
they were playing 2K, yeah.
Playing 2K, and he was really I forgot his name, but he was great. He was very welcoming and showed us what to do with the music and what he wanted us to show in his studio, and let us have at it, because I mean that's a lot of money in there. So for you to let us come in there to shoot, in your
not know us and
not know us,
come off of Lisa's recommend.
Yeah, right. So shout out to Lisa. But yeah, again, thank you so much for letting us shoot there, because that scene kind of just cemented him more as an artist. And thank you, OK Nice, for showing up too, and doing an amazing job. I mean, he did so good. He wasn't. I don't know what the MCing him to kind of freestyle like that, but he did such a good job. I mean, we had
OK Nice
for that, and he had so many different variations. Like, yeah, because I didn't DeVille say everybody in the grandma saw that video. He goes, yeah, my grandma's always showed me that video, or something like that. There's so many like variations of OK Nice saying certain funny things in that scene that like it was so good. So
and they had to drink that tea like every single time.
Yeah.
They were done with tea.
Yeah, they were downing that. You bought like 3 of those, didn't you?
I don't know.
Yeah,
it was a lot.
But yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time getting to know the city more than I ever. I think I forget about it now, but I met so many different people and drove around different parts of the city that I haven't really done. I lived in Minneapolis at that time, so I enjoyed that a lot, and that was my favorite day with that studio.
That's a really cool location. Yeah, yeah.
And Lisa didn't show up. Lisa was supposed to be there, but something came up, so he's kind of like, "What the hell's going on?"
Yeah.
So
yeah, right. I was expecting like an introduction, but then it was like
he was working that day. He was making a song that day.
I don't know. But then that was a good scene between OK Nice and day 12 was the Como house.
Yeah, with my old residence. Yeah,
it would have been Sunday the 24th. And I remember this day because Victoria couldn't make it because the axle of her car came off.
Oh, jeez.
Back axle, and they were like out in like some rural place. I don't know where they were, but wasn't good. Real car problems. So we had no makeup, but this was like Erica putting her makeup on, and I remember that because it's like luckily Lauren lived there because otherwise we wouldn't have had anything.
Well, I'm kind of mad that you watched that scene, my loofah is in the back with my hat, so that's fun. Yeah, like I see the loofah, I'm like, my loofah in this scene. What they're doing?
Well, the hat makes sense because it's black. Because she wears a black hat later, or
That's what I thought. My brand of the black hat makes it make sense, but yeah.
I didn't. I'll look for the loofah. I'll remember that, and now everyone will know that.
Easter egg. Find the loofah.
Good hygiene over there in band.
And I remember doing that shot of her on the bed through the mirror because the angle wasn't quite right from the bedroom, and I wanted her to face a certain way. Which is interesting because we're looking into a mirror with her. It's a
cool shot.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a great shot. I like it a lot.
Yeah. Even I forgot it was in the mirror until I was like, oh yeah, there it is. What else did we film that? Oh, Jen's scenes.
Jen's scenes at home. Playing the game.
Take that, sucker.
Take that, sucker.
She's so great at those lines. Just yeah.
It's all her. Yeah.
Yeah, she did such a good job.
What else did we have? Yeah, she was leaving to go to the diner. She had that. Plus, let's see, because Erica was getting ready, and then the last scene with Erica with the video. We finally get to see her do her thing. And that was awesome. She knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
And sent us home happy. And then that's when we added this last day. Day 13 was our last day, US Bank Stadium, the 25th of June. So that would have been that next day.
World Star Day. We got some real footage that day at that lecture.
Yeah. Well, audio.
There are people fighting down there, about to fight each other or something like that. I remember that. So I was like, hey, Alan, you want to catch that? Maybe add that to the movie. No.
Yeah, I was like, no. You want to file a police report? Go ahead.
That day was fun. Lisa brought her, her energy and excitement to it, which made it fun.
Yeah.
And the win wasn't fun. I remember that.
No.
That was bad.
Yeah, it was almost unsalvageable, some of it. Definitely all of Rod's shots. That's why you see Lisa so much.
Yeah.
It was just, I didn't bring the other windscreen for the mic. Not that would have helped as much, but would have been at least a little bit better.
That spot you have wind and then the light rail right underneath. It's just, I'm sure that was a nightmare for the audio.
Yeah.
Probably got to work. That light rail came right on through there.
Yeah, each time.
Go ahead. Sorry.
We got a nice shot of from when we look at Lisa, we actually do see the nice city background.
Yeah, it's a really pretty shot.
Yeah.
I was afraid that people wouldn't know it was morning time or not, because I remember that day that was afternoon for me, or evenings. I was like,
that's right.
Please think it's morning time, and then when you see it, like, oh yeah, it feels like morning time. So
yeah. Because the sun's setting, but would anyone know that? Not really.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And then the Silas shot of the stadium.
That was cool. Pre-tech was cool. That was
Big shout out to Jason Kraft for his work doing the sign work.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you.
Yeah.
So Silas runs this city. So So that's it. That's our production setup.
Yay!
Any other thoughts for our actors?
Oh my god, they all did such a wonderful job. I'm so proud of everybody. Yeah. And like Alan, the post work you did, like, yeah. So
yeah, the actors and everybody that helped out. I mean, it was, thank you so much. It was amazing. Made it like what it is.
yeah. Like the reason why those characters seem like they have such depth was what they brought into it, and like
we forget when the music was great. I mean,
yes, and the music is like what started everything. It's fantastic. I
mean, it created the story. So
yeah.
Thank you. It was interesting seeing how everything came together, but definitely like all the actors were amazing in it. And there's, like you were saying before about the diversity, which is like natural, like everyday life.
Yeah.
And like one other thing that I noticed too with it is like it was like the cameos from different people on different music scenes in the city. It's like that is very diverse too.
Yeah.
There's like Lisa, and then like Tom, who does like really dark stuff on his show, and Abisha, then Okay Nice. It was just like it's a good mix of all different people coming in.
Yeah, different genres. So
yeah, it was like it was great to see that too.
It is what Minnesota is, what Twin Cities is. That's what we are.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that definitely, like that music scene, you get that feel that's what Twin Cities music scene's like.
Yeah, and like the suburban life and the city life, we had a little bit of both. So
yeah.
So yeah, our kind of last thoughts on the film, the actors, of course, the music.
The last thing I want to say, the music. I wish it was music in the game I'm way into right now, Cyberpunk, because it feels like that kind of music, cyberpunk, futuristic kind of music, and this movie makes you think of that game a lot because 50 years from now, what will technology be like? Will it just be like an implant in our brain that's like our phone, our internet? But what will it be like? We're talking about in 2 or 3 years what technology is done. Well, can you imagine 50 years from now what technology will be like?
Yeah.
I'm terrified. We might have implants. You might have robotic arms and robotic hearts and stuff. I have no idea, but it's kind of terrifying because that's capitalism too. So
there's a guy with a bionic eyeball that it's like wired to his brain, and it's made from like a phone camera.
Oh, cool!
It's ridiculous, and that was like maybe like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah,
it's already here.
Yeah,
nanites and stuff like that. Because whenever I think about this movie, and I think about like now, I'm like, it's gonna. Can you imagine Electric Addiction too? You know what I mean? It'd be a totally different story. It'd be not only technology wise, but social wise.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, Jane had the right log line for our film. The whole human connections being the more important piece of what we're doing. So
yeah.
I don't remember. I know I'm not trying to talk 40 minutes again, but her story, we talked about that and how is it more? Are we moving towards being more human with technology, or are we being less human? Like, I don't know if you remember that, but like, is this natural evolution of humans?
I remember talking about like also the like, has this always like is technology just revealing humanity, or you know, has this been the way all along, or is this like, you know?
Yeah, well, and I think it's interesting too because we have Ava's character in there, Kids who are younger actually have a completely different relationship with technology than people our age. And they engage with it in a completely different way. And I think a lot of it, like, at least from what I've observed with like my nieces and nephews, like they do kind of like, they're more cautious than you would think. And there is like more about like choosing like connections and stuff like that than I think. So them having grown up with it, their relationship with it is different. And I think that Ava's reaction to like, oh, just mom, stop, like, is just such like a natural, like, I think that is, where am I even going with this thought? Yes, like, I think that, yeah, like, so it's hard to say, like, what will our relationship be with technology? Because even like, there's a difference in like, even this generation and the kids growing up right now. Like,
kids, I think when I'm getting what you're getting, I think I'm going to piggyback. Kids choose who they want to interact with now more than for us. And it might be the parenting ways too, because I know a lot of things that we're trying to teach kids that we shouldn't like be forcing them to hug people in their family. We shouldn't be doing that. And I wonder if that's also a nod to technology, how kids are naturally acting. They're choosing who they want to interact with. They're choosing to interact with a certain thing at one point and then moving away and keeping things as like one box kind of. It's kind of, I've seen that too with like little kids where they interact with your Snapchat and that's it. Like anybody on the Snapchat, they don't think about it anymore because they're on the next thing. So it's interesting to me.
Yeah, it is interesting. Yeah.
Like more like Lauren's cousin, he's 16, 17. He has friends, he's had friends for years strictly on Xbox. And he knows their entire lives. And they've been friends on Xbox since they've been in middle school. Is it so interesting? I don't have that. Like I've got to play with an Xbox, but I don't like check in on their like, hey, how the kids doing? You know what I mean? Like, hey, come get in this game. We gotta go rob this bank. You know what I mean? That's all. It's not anything deeper than that. So
yeah.
And I thought I grew up with technology.
It's like I have one friend in England, Chris, who I met through eBay of all places. And like I've known him for maybe like, God, close to 20 years now.
Wow.
And he had me do a commissioned painting of his two kids when they were like 4 and 6. And now they're like, his daughter is like 26 and she's singing on a song that's like on my like new album coming out tomorrow. And just like from like meeting someone on eBay, like selling them a CD, and then they saw my artwork, and then it evolved into all of this. And we've actually never met in person.
That's crazy.
Like after 20 years still, but it's like we still talk all the time. And it's just
yeah, it's wild. I have friends who are God, well, I'm trying to think of like who I have some of my really close friends I've met online like 5 years ago, and we talk every day, and like
yeah,
text, like just like we have a Discord, and like we talk all the time, and like and they're equally like fulfilling in deep relationships than I think like my in-person relationships are. So it's really fascinating.
There can be like a sense of kind of security with that too, because they're not really in your life, but they are.
Yeah, but, it's an interesting dynamic. I think you do open up, like at least I do. I opened up in a different way with those friends. Like I think the friendships actually progressed faster, but I don't think that makes them any more or less genuine. But and obviously healthy boundaries are important in all relationships.
Yeah. I didn't know I was so old school my entire. You know what I mean, I've always had a hard time keeping up with. Like, I'll meet friends on the internet, but I don't keep up with them unless they're in my life. And I didn't realize until the pandemic, actually, that no, just because you don't see the person every day, they're still I feel bad I don't keep up with them. And the pandemic made me keep up with people on social media, and it led to me keeping up with other people who I've always been really close with and been friends with, but only every now and then do we talk. But now it's like every day we talk. So this movie kind of reminded me of that. Like, you can have authentic friendships and never meet somebody. I think that's really cool for humans.
One thing that I think I would touch on if we did this now, too, is like finding community. I think is something that you can do through the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't think about my identity, like my gender identity, that much. Like, I mean, there was always this something, and it's like, obviously I put the puzzle pieces together now, like, but it wasn't until I was talking to other people with similar experiences, and then was like, oh, okay. And like, that's something I wouldn't have been able to find without the internet. Like, those pieces wouldn't have come into place.
Can I mention that too? I don't think I would know as much as, and I don't know much about that. I'm gonna start with that, about that community, as much as I should. But I think the internet helped me learn a lot about that community as well.
Yeah.
And the internet's taught me a lot about gender fluidity, like relationships and human connections, and how like humans are humans no matter which way you look at them. And I think that's something you wouldn't learn unless you had social media.
Yeah, it brings, there's diversity exists everywhere, and you can
I feel like a better person when I learn about different people, and we give these people spaces to speak. And I feel this film, in a certain aspect, gave people who don't see themselves in films, they get to see that in a video game character, or a person who is trying to be something on the internet that they're not. I hope that, that gives them some kind of like connection or some kind of stance.
Yeah, and like, I know both you guys from film schools, different ones, but we keep in touch through the internet, social media and email, all the things. The Noni. You know how we connected. It was a friend I met someone I met while in school, and I was introduced to you.
I feel like worked together a bit before we actually met too.
No, we didn't. I don't think we did. Because I remember, like, I don't usually work with people I don't meet. That's kind of a solid rule with me, because it's like, yeah, just deposit $100. But no, I remember meeting you at Hell's Kitchen. That's where you had a show.
That show, yeah.
That's how we met.
Yeah. I'm the reluctant live musician where I don't like playing live. So like, I usually am just like, hi, yeah, I gotta go. But
right.
None of this would have happened without social media. None of these connections would have happened without some type of, not social media, but some type of technology.
That's true. Yeah.
This meeting wouldn't happen without technology.
Yeah.
Thank God that we have that, especially this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then everything with George Floyd and the uprising here, like.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And that's why everyone saw it, because they were all on the computer.
Yeah.
They weren't at work. They weren't, putting themselves to the grind, to the point where you can't even pay attention to anything. It was right in front of you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there were so many people.
I just had a flat. it was horrifying.
I couldn't watch
couple
that.
of days. I mean, my cousin was like at the protests, and so was my niece, and like I just like the anxiety was like, yeah. Well, like my cousin's a large Black man, like so like the being so afraid. Sorry, it was just so scary. Like I just
No, that's that's how a lot of people have felt. I mean, and
Yeah.
I can imagine like you guys lived in South Minneapolis, and I was hearing stories of people like lighting houses on fire, or like trash, like there were like trash dumpsters.
Yeah, well, and the police were just like straight up attacking people, like
Yeah.
unprovoked. Like I was afraid to step out on my lawn, like, and like, that wasn't because of the protesters.
And so, yeah, that's what every time I know we like watch this movie, and it's Minneapolis, and you're like, oh, it's my home. But that's my home 2 years ago. It's not my home now.
Yeah.
I wish we could get back to that. And do we want to get like with that something that I love? Not
Yeah,
really.
I would love to go to a better version of that.
Yeah, right.
Like,
I feel, through all the sadness and everything, I feel like we've had more connections with social media aspect with people because of the pandemic and people hearing people's stories. I mean, I tuned into a city council meeting where people called in and about the budget and stuff like that, and followed these people who I heard talk on social media. And I think if we didn't have our electric addictions, we wouldn't have these connections. But yeah, it put a lot of fear in me too. I was kind of scared. I didn't. The big reason I didn't go to the protest was the pandemic, and honestly, Lauren's just like, you shouldn't go because I'm afraid of your life if you go to that. But yeah, it was a lot of tough days watching people getting, shot, rubber bullets shot at them, for standing there, and you know what I mean, for being upset about someone getting killed. I mean, yeah, I don't want to get too much into that, but that, watching someone hearing about someone crying out for their mother as they're dying, and then you shoot them, you shoot the person protesting that death. I don't know. So that's what I kept thinking about. Like, we're not the same city.
Yeah, the tale of two cities now. It's just kind of,
like the Guthrie that we shot at, they had George Floyd's name on it for months.
Yeah.
It's a different time. So it's interesting to watch that movie and what we were worried about then, what we're worried about now.
That's why I have to do a part.
Yeah.
You say that, and I feel that in a certain extent. Like, what would DJ Clay be now? Where would his career be at? Where would all these people be at right now? So
yeah, but again, it like we talked about. This talks about like how, or it shows how the city is different. We have like a full spectrum here. It's not just one thing or the other. So, and everyone likes to minimalize it to one or the other, two things.
It's a race thing. Because it was, we had a lot of people from the trans community passing away this summer. We didn't talk about at the protests. People just vanishing at these protests who were trans, and we weren't talking about that. We had a lot of things going on. So, biggest thing: watch out for your people, man. Watch out. Make sure you know where they're coming from.
And watch out for your neighbors.
Yeah, watch out for your neighbors. So, yeah.
Well,
last part.
I would like to wrap it up there, but we can't end it like this. I suppose in making Electric Addiction over the past 3 years for us, I guess, yeah, just kind of final thoughts on that more. Like, what does it mean now? Then?
For me, teamwork. A lot of teamwork. A lot of minds meeting and making something happen that we had no money in. Now, I mean, we had money. People put money into it, but we didn't get money. We didn't have a budget behind it. So for this to happen, it was a miracle, I feel.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of hard work and a miracle.
You have no idea, guys. It's been a long 2 years of editing.
I bet. I mean, I've seen like the stages of how much work you've put into it, and you can tell like how much work you've put into it. You can see that.
Yeah.
So that's good.
It came to the point where it's done. You know, it's as far as the film can go.
Yeah.
And then just creating these storylines together is ultimately, I think it ends well. I think it leaves all the characters in a better place than where they started.
Yeah, it's
very human.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great, guys.
What's next for you guys? I just want to hear it. What's next? More films? Anyone?
I mean, if you guys want to write something.
Yes, I definitely want to write some more.
Actually write something this time. Not like Alan has an idea.
Yeah. I would love to write something. That would be great.
Yeah.
I'm also like interested in exploring podcasts as a medium.
Me too.
I've been listening some really good audio storytelling through podcasts, and I think that would be another great thing to explore.
I want to
listen to Film in Minnesota. It's my podcast.
I want to explore our community more too. I feel like there's a lot of artists and a lot of creators. This movie made me think about that a lot. That we don't see their story from enough. That and so
that'd be cool.
I wish there was some kind of way to connect people more. But I'm thinking about it. So
yeah.
Oni, we know what's coming up, but tell us more, Oni. What do you got?
One album coming out tomorrow. The film score coming out like a week later. I'm working about 4 other albums.
Nice.
Starting up a few more. And the pink.
Do you have a website for your albums?
I don't update my own website for the albums that much, but like on, I think it's like Surrealistic Sound Labs on Bandcamp.
Okay, cool. Bandcamp is easy to use.
Yeah. There's just a lot of stuff that's going to be there on iTunes and everywhere else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Working on whatever Alan throws at me next.
Oh, they're coming.
3 days.
The Sound of Winter is on the editing block now. Rough cut should be done soon. And then it's a French film about seasonal affective disorder.
Cool.
French spoken film. And then on to the next writings, doing proof of concept for the night and pushing those out. So on to the next thing, because this is just the beginning, guys, right? So,
right?
Idle hands are the enemy.
What?
Idle hands are the enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we can take a breath, end 2020, get out of this crazy joint. So,
that's a big thing I'm going to do is get through 2020. Make sure I'm checking on you guys more.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should play some Jackbox or something.
Among Us group, right?
Yeah. We'll get it going. We know how to communicate with each other.
Oh my God, my son in Among Us. Oh.
But yeah, it's nice talking to you guys.
Yeah, it's great talking to you guys.
with all of you.
Yeah. Good to hear from you guys, and thanks for doing this. We're
thank you,
up
Alan.
Electric Addiction.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for anyone who watched or listened to this. So if you made it this far, and we'll see you in 2021, guys.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye.